Imagine waking up every morning, your breath visible in the freezing air, clutching a threadbare blanket for warmth, knowing that the smallest act, like boiling a pot of water or preparing a simple breakfast, could put your life in grave danger. The distant thunder of artillery is never far away. The relentless buzz of drones overhead is a constant reminder that, for millions of Ukrainians living near the ever-shifting front lines, danger is not an occasional visitor. It is a permanent companion woven into every moment of daily existence. Now picture something deceptively modest. A small, portable box containing a solar panel and an electric cookstove. It may not look like much, a piece of hardware, lightweight and nondescript, but for families huddled in dark, freezing homes, hiding from shelling, or sheltering their children from the chaos outside, this kit is nothing short of miraculous. It is a lifeline, a silent promise of hope and survival in a world turned upside down. The war in Ukraine, which erupted with renewed and devastating force in early 2022, has not only reduced entire cities to rubble and torn families apart, it has also struck at something even more fundamental and invisible: the systems that keep the lights on, the water flowing, and homes warm against the bitter Ukrainian winter. Since the escalation of hostilities, Ukraine has lost more than 9 gigawatts of power generation capacity, an amount of energy sufficient to power several small nations. To put this in perspective, this is more than the total annual electricity consumption of many European countries, wiped out in a matter of months by targeted attacks and relentless destruction. But these losses are not just abstract numbers. They are stories, millions of stories, of hardship, fear, and ingenuity. More than 10 million Ukrainians now find themselves energy insecure, unable to rely on the grid for even the most basic needs. For families living near the front lines, estimated at around 1 million households, roughly 3 million people, the struggle is even more acute. These are communities in places like Sumy, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, and Kherson, where the sound of drones is as common as birdsong, and the threat of attack never truly fades. In these regions, the ordinary act of gathering firewood, a practice passed down through generations, has become a deadly gamble. Russian reconnaissance drones, equipped with advanced sensors, patrol the skies day and night, searching for any sign of life. Even the faintest wisp of smoke rising from a chimney is enough to draw attention. Yuri Boyechko, CEO of Hope for Ukraine, describes the chilling reality. Anytime they see smoke from burning firewood, they presume it to be Ukrainian military, and those locations are sent to Russian strike units. This is not theory, it is a daily terror. Entire neighborhoods have been flattened, not for harboring military assets, but for the simple act of trying to survive. For these families, blackouts are not a mere inconvenience. They are a question of survival itself. Without electricity, food cannot be cooked, water cannot be sterilized, and homes cannot be heated against winters when temperatures often plunge well below zero. Even education is a casualty. Children forced to shelter in basements or makeshift bunkers cannot attend school in person. Their only hope to continue learning is through online classes, if, and only if, they can find a way to charge a laptop or a phone. In this bleak landscape, hope has taken an unexpected and radiant form: sunlight. Humanitarian organizations, most notably Hope for Ukraine, have begun distributing compact solar resilience kits to the families who need them most. Each kit typically contains a 200-watt solar panel and a smoke-free electric cookstove. When left outside during the day, the panel can fully charge a portable generator in about 8 hours of reasonable sunlight. This energy is enough to power the cookstove, charge essential devices, provide light for a room, or even run a small electric heater for a time. For those living in stable, electrified nations, the idea of a single solar panel may not sound revolutionary. But for people in conflict zones, these kits are nothing short of transformative. No longer do families have to risk their lives gathering firewood or lighting fires that could betray their location to enemy drones. Instead, they can cook, keep warm, and allow their children to learn, all in relative safety. The technology is so discreet and produces no telltale smoke, rendering it virtually invisible to surveillance searching for targets. The scale of this effort is both inspiring and humbling. At present, more than 10,000 families are on Hope for Ukraine's waiting list, desperately hoping for a solar kit. To date, only 80 kits have been distributed, enough to change the lives of 80 families, but still only a tiny fraction of those in need. The organization's goal is to reach another 220 families by year's end, but the task is daunting. Each kit represents not just a piece of technology, but a chance at dignity, self-reliance, and a measure of security in the face of overwhelming adversity. Zooming out, the broader picture is just as sobering. Ukraine's recovery needs are now estimated to exceed $524 billion over the next decade. Direct damages to the energy sector alone have surpassed $20 billion, while environmental devastation from pollution, destroyed infrastructure, and toxic spills has inflicted losses of more than $56 billion. The country's housing stock has been decimated, with more than 13% of all homes damaged or destroyed. These are not just cold statistics. They represent millions of lives upended, dreams lost, and communities that may never be rebuilt. In spite of these overwhelming odds, Ukraine is choosing to see crisis as opportunity. The nation has set its sights on a bold target, generating 27% of its total energy from renewable sources by the year 2030. This vision transcends mere climate targets. It is about survival, resilience, and the quest for genuine independence. In a world where centralized power plants can be obliterated overnight, decentralized and distributed renewable energy, especially solar, is emerging as the ultimate shield against both natural and man-made disasters. Support from the international community has been both swift and significant. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, in partnership with the European Union, has pledged to help unlock up to 1 gigawatt of new renewable capacity in Ukraine. Backed by a potential investment of €1.5 billion, this initiative is already driving the deployment of new solar and wind projects across the country. The Energy Act for Ukraine Foundation, another key player, has facilitated the installation of 900 kilowatts of solar photovoltaic capacity and 1 megawatt of battery storage, bringing solar energy to more than 1.5 million people. Ukrainian businesses have also stepped up, investing around $150 million in solar energy projects in the year 2023 alone. Walburga Hemmetsberger, CEO of Solar Power Europe, summed it up perfectly. Solar power, as the most easily deployable clean energy source, will be key to rebuilding Ukraine and ensuring lasting energy security. Her words capture a growing consensus among experts worldwide. The decentralized nature of solar, its ability to be installed on rooftops, schools, hospitals, and remote villages, makes it uniquely suited to Ukraine's current needs, where flexibility and resilience are not just advantages, but necessities. But what does energy insecurity actually look like day to day? In Ukraine, it means families rationing every precious watt of power, children hunched over homework under the faint glow of candles, and the elderly enduring night after night without heat. It means towns and villages forced to rebuild again and again as infrastructure is targeted and destroyed. It means a constant, grinding uncertainty. Will the lights stay on tonight? Will we be able to cook a hot meal? Will I be able to call my loved ones if disaster strikes? This crisis has laid bare the vulnerabilities of centralized power systems, not only in Ukraine but all over the world. Across continents, from Puerto Rico to Yemen, from Afghanistan to the Philippines, wars and natural disasters have repeatedly shown that when large, centralized power plants go down, entire regions can be plunged into darkness for weeks or even months. In these moments, decentralized and renewable solutions, especially portable solar, have become literal lifelines. Consider the aftermath of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico in the year 2017. The storm devastated the island, knocking out its centralized grid and leaving millions without power. In response, communities and aid organizations turned to solar panels and battery storage systems. Hospitals, schools, and even small businesses were able to reopen thanks to rooftop solar arrays and microgrids. The lesson was clear and profound. Resilience depends on the ability to generate and store power locally, close to where it is needed most. In Yemen, years of ongoing conflict have left millions without reliable electricity. Here too, solar panels have become a vital resource, allowing families to power lights, charge phones, and run small medical devices. These real-world examples echo what is happening in Ukraine. When the grid fails, local solutions become a matter of life and death. Ukraine is now poised to take this lesson to the next level. If the country and its international partners can scale up the deployment of solar kits, microgrids, and rooftop panels, millions of families could be empowered to cook meals, heat homes, and charge devices without fear of detection or sudden power loss. This vision is not science fiction. It is already being realized in battered towns, improvised shelters, and rural villages across Ukraine. Every new installation brings the country closer to becoming a global model for using clean energy as a shield in conflict zones. But the path ahead is fraught with challenges. The scale of destruction is staggering. More than 1 million families near the front lines still face daily energy insecurity, and the total cost of recovery is overwhelming. Each push for renewables must contend with the ever-present threat of attacks, uncertain funding, and the technical challenge of integrating new technologies into a grid that has been damaged and rebuilt multiple times. Beyond the technical and financial hurdles, there is a deeply human dimension. Many Ukrainians have lost faith in centralized systems, having watched them collapse or be destroyed overnight. The move to decentralized renewables is therefore not only a technological shift, but also a psychological journey, a process of rebuilding trust, hope, and self-determination at the community level. Grassroots organizations like Hope for Ukraine play a vital role in this transformation, not just by delivering technology, but by fostering community resilience, cooperation, and self-sufficiency. International collaboration remains essential. The European Union, the United Nations, and major global financial institutions have all recognized that Ukraine's recovery is not just about rebuilding what was lost, but about building back better, creating systems that are more sustainable, resilient, and inclusive. Antonella Bassani, World Bank Vice President for Europe and Central Asia, has underscored this point. This updated assessment captures the progress Ukraine has made on both physical and economic recovery, but also highlights the urgent need for continued investment in resilience. The environmental stakes are equally high. The war has inflicted more than $56 billion in environmental damage, polluting rivers, contaminating soil, and destroying forests. Transitioning to renewables is not just about keeping the lights on. It is about healing the land and ensuring a healthier legacy for future generations. Clean energy projects, by reducing reliance on fossil fuels and mitigating pollution, offer a pathway to long-term environmental recovery as well as energy independence. Looking to the future, Ukraine's energy transition holds enormous potential. If successful, Ukraine could emerge as a regional leader in renewable energy, exporting clean electricity to its European neighbors, and setting a new benchmark for post-conflict reconstruction. The country's theoretical renewable energy potential is enormous, estimated at more than 874 gigawatts, a figure that vastly exceeds current domestic needs. With the right mix of investments, policy reforms, and market integration, Ukraine could become a cornerstone of Europe's collective energy security, helping to accelerate the continent's own green transition and reduce dependence on fossil fuels from unstable regions. Of course, there are darker scenarios as well. If the conflict continues, or if support for renewables wanes, Ukraine could remain trapped in a cycle of dependency on fossil fuels and vulnerable, centralized grids, slowing economic recovery and perpetuating environmental harm and social instability. The choices made in the coming years will resonate for generations, shaping not only Ukraine's future, but also the trajectory of global energy security. So what can we, as citizens of an interconnected world, learn from Ukraine's struggle and resilience? First, the crisis underscores the life-saving power of decentralized energy. Whether in war zones or following natural disasters, portable renewables can keep food warm, lights on, and hope alive when all else fails. Even for families in peaceful countries, there is a lesson here. Investing in solar solutions at home, even on a small scale, can increase resilience in times of uncertainty. Imagine a future where every neighborhood, every community, has the capacity to generate its own energy, reducing reliance on distant grids and volatile fossil fuel markets. Second, Ukraine's experience demonstrates the transformative force of collaboration. From grassroots volunteers assembling kits in church basements to billion-dollar international funding packages, real change happens when communities, governments, and businesses work together. Wherever you live, you can be part of this movement by donating to humanitarian technology projects, educating yourself and others about renewables, or advocating for policies that promote energy independence and innovation. Third, it is important to appreciate the technological ingenuity that underpins these efforts. The portable solar kits used in Ukraine are designed to be stealthy, efficient, and user-friendly. They are compact, lightweight, and can be set up in a matter of minutes. Unlike traditional energy sources, they produce no smoke, no noise, and are almost impossible for enemy drones or surveillance teams to detect. This simple but crucial detail has saved countless lives, turning sunlight itself into a silent shield. Fourth, these innovations are not limited to Ukraine. Around the world, from refugee camps in Africa to disaster zones in Asia, portable solar power is emerging as a vital tool for humanitarian relief. In Afghanistan, for example, solar lanterns and cookstoves have helped displaced families survive bitter winters. In the Philippines, after Typhoon Haiyan, Solar microgrids enabled entire villages to regain access to power long before the central grid could be repaired. Each success story builds momentum for a future where clean energy is accessible to all, no matter the circumstances. Finally, Ukraine's journey offers hope for a more sustainable, just, and resilient future, not just for one nation, but for the world. As Yuliana Onishchuk, CEO and founder of the Energy Act for Ukraine Foundation, passionately put it, every watt of energy produced, every project realized, and every life changed is a testament to our shared commitment to peace, unity, and a sustainable future. In conclusion, can portable solar and renewable power truly secure Ukraine's energy future in the shadow of war? No single solution is perfect, but the mounting evidence is clear. Every watt generated, every meal cooked, and every child who can study after dark represents a victory, however small, in a much larger battle. The resilience, creativity, and determination of the Ukrainian people, strengthened by global support, are already making the seemingly impossible possible. If you found this story moving, consider supporting humanitarian energy initiatives in conflict zones, or exploring solar technology for your own home. Every action, no matter how modest, can have a ripple effect, helping to build a more secure and sustainable world for all. Hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into global technology and economics, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think decentralized solar could redefine energy security for crisis zones worldwide? What lessons from Ukraine's journey could be applied in your own community? Stay tuned for more untold stories at the crossroads of technology and humanity. The future of energy